Now, we want to provide an emergency heart attack treatment for 24/7. That's the call coming from Frimley Park Hospital today. The hospital is launching its heart-to-heart appeal to raise money needed to achieve it. The new catheterisation laboratory will cost around £2 million. Is that right? Dr. Vinod Achan is the consultant cardiologist there at Frimley Park. Hello there, Dr. Vinod. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Is it catheterisation?
It is catheterisation, yes.
There was a slight spelling error there, and I was just reading it thinking, no, that can't be right. Anyway, heart obviously is one of the biggest killers in the country there. Surely you would have 24/7 treatment available anyway, wouldn't you?
Yes. The conventional treatment so far for heart attacks has been a drug treatment that people receive as soon as they come into the A&E department. But there is a lot of evidence now that a more invasive treatment, which involves cardiac catheterization and putting a balloon and then a stent into the artery that's blocked, is a much better treatment for heart attacks. This is now the gold standard for heart attack treatments in the big cities, and we're hoping to deliver this sort of treatment to patients in Berkshire, Surrey and Hampshire at Frimley Park.
One of those things, isn't it, heart disease? I suppose it all depends on what type of problem you're having with your heart and how bad it is, I suppose, isn't it? But, I mean, how frequently are you having to do something like this? And it's an obvious question, but is it something that you get one or two people every day, or is it more than that?
Well, we roughly get one or two people every day, but at the moment we're only able to provide the service during working hours, and we're hoping to start providing this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as of next year. But in order to do this, we have to build a second catheterization lab, which is what we're going to start doing soon.
£2 million worth?
Yes, well, in fact, we're actually spending a bit more than that. We're spending about £3.5 million, and we're hoping to raise £1.5 million to help improve facilities here.
I know you've got a big launch in about 35 minutes from now. Tell me about the appeal. Why is it what is the money going to be spent on?
Well, the money is going to be spent primarily on building a second cardiac catheterization laboratory, which is like a theatre where we perform these invasive procedures. The key thing is to be able to provide the treatment as soon as the patient arrives in the hospital after their heart attack. And in order to do that, we need more than one laboratory. We've got one laboratory at the moment, but if there's a procedure being carried out at the time that the patient arrives, then we need a second laboratory in order to be able to treat that patient. And that's really where the money is going to be spent, as well as staffing and extra facilities that are required for that.
It is amazing. I imagine when you first thought about being a doctor and you had your first foray at med school there, the amount of improvement in treatment for cardiology is incredible, isn't it? The things that you can do now.
It is astonishing. It is astonishing. The change that's happened in the last 10, 15 years is incredible. We've gone from being able to do nothing for heart attack patients 20 years ago to giving drug treatments that have been quite effective, but not always effective, to now being able to deliver emergency angioplasty and stenting procedures within 60 minutes of patients coming into hospital, which is a procedure that does save a lot of lives.
And someone, obviously, the big shock and the whole trauma of having a heart attack, but people, I imagine, it's almost bizarre, but people are coming out of hospital after a few days saying, oh, I'm just home, I had a heart attack. And, almost back to normal, as it were.
Yes, and that is, in some ways, I mean, obviously that's a great
surreal
thing.
In some ways,
It's a great thing, but people often don't realise the seriousness of the problem that they've had. And that can sometimes mean, for example, if you're a smoker and you have a heart attack and you come out of hospital 3 days later, the incentive to stop smoking might not be as great. But it is still a very serious condition, and it's important that people realise that although they're out of hospital 3 days after their treatment, they need to stop smoking, they need to exercise, they need to eat healthily, and all the other good things that people need to be doing to try and avoid this thing from happening again. Well,
good luck with the big launch at 6 o'clock at Frimley Park. I understand Brian Blessett's coming up. You'll be able to hear him across the room.
Unfortunately, he's not coming.
He's not, is he?
But we've got Damon Hill, who I think I'm meeting in about 15 minutes.
Damon Hill. Okay, yeah. I'm impressed. Been a pleasure meeting you, and best of luck with it. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about it as well over the next few months.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Dr. Vinod Achan then from Frimley Park Hospital, where they're launching a brand new campaign for a brand new catheterization laboratory, and basically treatment of heart and heart problems will be 24/7. And Damon Hill's there for the big launch. Wow.